What's up, everybody? Your life alchemist, your dragon. So this is a special episode for a number of reasons. One, this is my first solo episode. And even though I'm a little bit nervous, the best way to build confidence doing anything is by doing it. So here goes my first solo podcast episode. So bear with me if it's a little choppy or rough in some parts, and if there's some transitions that don't work super well. Nonetheless, before I dig into this episode, I just want to deeply thank all the supporters, all the listeners, the viewers, everyone who's been sending me messages on Instagram, emails, leaving me comments, everyone who just has found value in this show and let me know, as well as shared it with other people. So deep gratitude to all of you for supporting the show. That means a lot to me. This is a long time dream come true for me to be able to share ideas and inspiration and tools and tips and strategies to really build your best life. So the reason this is a very special show is because this is actually the last Alchemize Life podcast episode, which I know it's sad. It's been really hard for me to kind of let go of this, but I have some great news in addition to that, because it is also the rebirth of this show. So going forward, Alchemize Life will become Fit Rich Life. And ultimately, the spirit and energy of the show is going to stay the same. But one of my biggest themes for this year is expansion. And what I mean by expansion is serving more people, empowering more people, inspiring more people to proactively design and truly live their best life, a life worth living for. And as much as I love the word alchemize and alchemy and alchemist, that word does not make a lot of sense to a lot of people. It is a bit elusive or nebulous. And I feel that by renaming the podcast to Fit Rich Life, it's pretty obvious what the show is about. It's about fitness when it comes to physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. It's about money, financial independence, entrepreneurship, personal finance, and really like building your rich life, whatever that looks like to you, as well as life optimization, life happiness, and ultimately really building your best fit rich life. So this comes as a part of a overall rebrand of several of my endeavors, including this podcast, my newsletter, which used to be called the FML newsletter, which stood for Fitness, Money, and Life. It is now the Fit Rich Life newsletter. Also, my coaching program, my fitness and money coaching program, previously called Fit Rich Vegan, is now been rebranded to Fit Rich Life Coaching. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm getting all of my different endeavors under one brand name, one parody. And this is something that, interestingly enough, I've been thinking about since the inception of the coaching program and the inception of the podcast, which, really got kicked off last year in 2022 around the same time. And the funny story about all of that is I actually purchased the domain name for Fit Rich Life immediately after getting the domain Fit Rich Vegan and launching this podcast and launching the coaching program, because I knew at some point it would make sense for me to step into greater service and, step out of that kind of like niche role of only serving those who were vegan or wanted to live the vegan lifestyle. So the coaching program is now open to really anybody who's open to incorporating more plants into their lifestyle, because one of the things that myself and my business partner recognize is the world doesn't necessarily need vegans to be more vegan. The world and its people could greatly benefit from people consuming more plants, because this is better for their health, their longevity, their health span. You know, how long of their life are they in good health where they can do all the things that they want to do. It's also really good for the environment and all living beings. So on that theme of expansion, I really want to be open to more people. And I believe that changing the name to the podcast, Fit Rich Life, is going to empower more people to find the show when they're looking to optimize their fitness, their money, or their life. It's going to empower more people to come into the coaching program who really want to master their fitness, elevate their money, and truly build their fit, rich life. It makes a lot more sense for the newsletter, because FML, also stands for Fuck My Life. And as much as I have a funny sense of humor, I think it's confusing to people. And as a communicator, or someone who is stepping more and more into their thought leadership and their role as a communicator, it is really important for me to create clarity for people, both for their understanding and for access, right? So that it resonates, so people actually can find the type of content that they're looking for through a voice like mine that may or may not resonate with them. And ultimately, that's up to everybody. I know that the world is infinitely abundant, and the people that love this show are going to stick with this show, and it may be even easier to share this show with more people because it makes a lot of sense now. Fit Rich Life. What's that about? Fitness, money, life optimization. Pretty simple. So that's the big announcement. Ultimately, like I said at the top of the show, the spirit and the heart of the show is going to remain the same. So many of the common themes of the show are entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurial journey, financial independence, the kind of life journey of different, thought leaders and experts in different fields, all the fields that, really would empower anybody to alchemize their life to the next level, right? So for me, the word alchemize, just kind of for reference, is really special to me because I've always considered myself an alchemist. And the reason behind that is because my mom is very spiritual, psychotherapist, and, grew up with crystals in the home and all that stuff. And my father is science, academia, and, more kind of logical thinking. And I'm a combination of both. I am both kind of this spiritual, life alchemist magician, but I'm also very much like a scientist and all about academia and research and logic. And I believe that mixing both science and magic is really awesome and creates an incredible life. And that, to me, is part of being a life alchemist. So mixing both the science and the magic, the logic, and the more kind of emotional, spiritual aspects of myself into one. And the word alchemize, one definition, is the seemingly magical process of combination, creation, and transformation. And I absolutely love that. But again, that doesn't necessarily resonate with a lot of people. When they hear the word alchemize or alchemy or alchemist, they're probably thinking of the book, The Alchemist, or they're thinking some person turning lead into gold, which is a great metaphor for what this show is about. It's turning that lead into gold, those more challenging experiences that at the time may seem like the worst things that are happening in one's life, but actually ultimately be the things that empower us to become our best selves. So that spirit will remain. That is always forever going to be a part of my life philosophy and what I'm really interested in. But I want to, again, reach more people. I want to expand this year. I want to empower more people. And if somebody comes upon this show, Fit Rich Life, they're going to immediately know what that is about. And they will, if they're open to it, utilize the show to undergo their own learning, healing, growth, and transformation, or essentially their alchemization. So the spirit of the show will stay the same. We're just going to make it easier for people to find the show. And also, I believe it's going to empower myself and my team to get more awesome guests on the show. Some of which that may have not been as eager to come on the show because Alchemize Life doesn't really make a lot of sense to them. So that is the big announcement. A couple other things that I want to talk about before we wrap this up. And this show is for sure going to be a lot shorter than my normal shows, because normally I have a 1 to 2+ hour conversation with a thought leader about their journey, about all the strategies, tools, tips, and ways that they have transformed their life. But this is just me. It's my first podcast by myself, and in order to complete it, I'm going to keep it short. But there are a few more things that I want to talk about. So one of those is the Fit Rich Life newsletter. So every week for the last now 13 weeks, I have been sending out a short 2 to 4 minute read of a newsletter that includes tips, tools, strategies to alchemize your fitness, money, and life to the next level. So there are a couple different things that I wanted to share and that are examples of what would be in that newsletter. So one of the things I've talked about in the newsletter is, or will be talking about in the newsletter, is this simple tool, which is a jade face roller. So this is something that you can get online on Amazon or wherever, and I can put a show in the link, but essentially you just use it to roll out your face. And you would be amazed at how many little muscles and stress and tightness that you keep in your face. And this is something that my wife taught me about, and my wife has beautiful face, beautiful skin, and this is just one kind of special, cool, unique fitness tip that I share in the Fit Rich Life newsletter. So you can just roll out your face every morning. It's an awesome way to just wake up and kind of wake up your face, wake up your mind. You can roll the side of your head, the back of your head, even your neck. And so that would be one fitness tool that would be in the newsletter. A money tip in one of the previous newsletters was actually the reference of this incredibly unique credit card called the Built credit card. It's a MasterCard. And the reason I believe this is such a rad, empowering money tip is because you can actually use this credit card, the Built card, to pay your rent with. And you can earn points paying your rent. And on top of all that, you can use those points to pay for your rent. So virtually reducing the cost of your rent in a given year, depending on how much your rent is, you could save well over $1,000. And that to me is really awesome, because that's like giving yourself $1,000 raise just by utilizing the right tool to pay your rent. And that's the kind of tips, tools, and strategies that we share in the Fit Rich Life newsletter that empower people to take their money to the next level. Some of you may be saying, well, $1,000 isn't that much money. Well, if you multiply that over 5 years, 10 years, that's like 5 to 10 grand. And you could use that to go on an incredible vacation, invest in an index fund, buy some crypto, purchase a new car, whatever floats your boat. So I'll leave my referral code in the notes, and that is a great way to support the show, because that will give me more points to pay my rent. And it's a fun, easy way for us to do this work together, to support each other on our money journey. And so that would be a type of money tip. Now, plenty of other money tips in the Fit Rich Life newsletter. An example of a life strategy that I've mentioned in a previous newsletter is this idea of being the hero of your own story. So this is a really cool mental model that you can use anytime that you are facing a challenge in life. Maybe something doesn't go your way, or it goes sideways, or a catastrophe happens. And by choosing to put yourself in the mental frame of like, this is a story or a movie, and I am the main character or the hero. And if I were this hero, what are the things that I would do to transcend this challenge? And then you can literally just write out, here's all the things that hero would do in order to overcome the challenge or the catastrophe or whatever it is. And then once you've written all of that out, you now have an action list of all the things that you need to do in your real life in order to overcome the challenge. So again, the Fit Rich Life newsletter, 2 to 4 minute read, 3 tips, 1 tip, tool, or strategy for your fitness, 1 tip, tool, or strategy for your money, and 1 tip, tool, or strategy for building your best Fit Rich life. If you want to sign up for that, you can just go to fitrichlife.com/newsletter, or there'll be a link in the show notes. Hopefully, I'll have that link built by the time that this gets published. But if not, it'll also be at alchemizelife.com/FRL, or you can just go alchemizelife.com and there'll be a newsletter link at the top of the page. So that's another part of the show, is just asking for patience as I get everything rebranded and, aligned, creating parity across all the social platforms and whatnot. I chose to, instead of getting everything perfect and then making the transition, really doing it in real time. So we immediately switched the name of the coaching program. The following week, I renamed the newsletter. And now a week or so later, I am renaming the podcast. But I'm still in the middle of getting everything updated with my team. And the reason I wanted to share this is really because I want to empower other people who are going through similar things when it's like, when is the right time to do it? The right time to do it is now. So it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be perfect, but change is challenging at first, it's messy in the middle, and it's beautiful at the end. So right now I'm in the messy middle. So I appreciate you all bearing with me as I go through this transformation, this alchemization of all my different business endeavors. I also thought this would be a great opportunity for me to speak a little bit more candidly about the different companies that support this show. So the companies that I work with, just to let all of you know, these are companies that I truly believe in, and these are products that I use in my everyday life. I do not promote anything that I haven't used extensively. I do not promote anything that I do not deeply believe in and really, believe in the company and feel like there's vision, value, and mission alignment with myself and this show, as well as their company and what they're doing in the world. So there's a couple different show sponsors. The first one that I want to talk about is Veg Nutrition. So I'm part of their elite athlete team, and I know the owners super well. I actually know the person who formulates all the products, and I want to tell you about two of my favorite products that I use basically every single day. And the first one is the Veg pre-workout. So this is my favorite flavor, the peach mango, and this is just an incredible plant-based pre-workout that just, it hits super good, gives me the energy, the focus that I need to have an incredible workout. And the best part is there's no crash afterwards. It's made with some really top-notch ingredients, and I absolutely love the taste. I love the energy, the focus, and the feel that it gives me. And I love to stack it with Nitro Pump. So Nitro Pump is really good because it's kind of like a caffeine-free version of a pre-workout that can be stacked with the Veg pre-workout, and it really gives you that awesome full pumps. It's got some of those like key things like L-citrulline, as well as beetroot powder and some other things that are just really good for giving you a great pump. So if you are sensitive to caffeine, you can actually just use the Nitro Pump and not use the Veg pre-workout. Or if you're like me and you love a little bit of caffeine in your pre-workout, you can stack the two together, the pre-workout and the Nitro Pump. So that is one of the show sponsors. Again, the one of the founders and owners is a great friend of mine, and I really believe in the work that they're doing and really all the products that they create. So you can just go vegnutrition.com/dragon, and all their products are there. The other company that I want to talk about is Botanic Tonics, and they create this product called Feel Free. And Feel Free is a plant-based supplement with kava and other ancient plants in it, and it is truly unlike anything that I've ever had. I take just half a shot before either a workout or a session of work, and it is probably the best productivity tool that I've ever had. It just gives me this laser-like focus, as well as this drive and creativity to just like get shit done. And I freaking love it. Now, you have to be, just like you can't take too much caffeine or like you get massive amounts of anxiety and you can't sleep well, you literally only need half a shot of this, and at most, a half a shot at 2 different times in the day. So 1 full bottle in any given day. Do not take any more than that. Just like if you have too many cups of coffee, your whole day is fucked, and you don't sleep well and you don't feel well. It's the same with Feel Free, as well as many supplements. So the medicine is in the dose, the poison is in the dose. If you take too much of anything, you're not going to feel well. So you can use code DRAGON to get $40 off your first order. And that's at botanictonics.com. and it is literally probably my favorite supplement outside of the pre-workout. So that's another one of the show sponsors. They also make, in case you don't want to, drink the little feel-free bottle, you can use they have it in capsule form, which is really great for travel if you don't want to carry, a bunch of little glass bottles. Personally, for some reason, I just like taking half a shot more than I do the capsules. But if I'm traveling, it's easier to take the feel-free capsules. So that's another one of the awesome sponsors. And again, I've been using Feel-Free for over a year now. I've also been utilizing Veg for a few years. And the last show sponsor that I want to talk about is NoCal. Now, NoCal is a plant-based protein bar that literally has 20 grams of protein, 20 to 22 depending on which flavor, and super low carb and really low fat as well. And I should say it's got a moderate level of carbs, about 20 to 25 grams. But the best part to me is it has 12 to 15 grams of fiber as the carb. So it really leaves you feeling full. And depending on which NoCal bar you get, it's going to be like 190 to 210 calories per bar and 20 to 22 grams of protein and pretty low fat and that fiber that's going to help you feel it full for a long time, which is great. So my favorite version is the dipped ones. Now these have like a chocolate coating. Again, these are fully plant-based. So if you're a vegan or plant-based, these are awesome. My two favorite flavors are the chocolate mint cookie and the chocolate salted caramel, which is also another version of the dip bar. Now there are non-dipped ones that don't have the chocolate coating on the outside, but personally, they don't taste quite as good to me. These things literally taste so good, they're like a candy bar to me. So a little like food hack that I love to do is I will literally get a rice cake, like a brown rice cake, and I will take a bite of that rice cake, and then I will take a bite of the NoCal dipped bar, and it literally just tastes like chocolate and popcorn. And it tastes incredible to me. And for the last several months, that is my dessert, is I have a rice cake and a NoCal bar, and it's literally like chocolate and popcorn, delicious. It tastes like a freaking candy bar to me. And the reason I love NoCal so much is because a lot of protein bars are really actually fat bars disguised as protein bars. So if you were to actually do the math of the macros of, what percentage of the bar is protein, what percentage of the bar is fat, and what percentage of the bar is carbs, a lot of protein bars are like super high in fat, because a gram of fat is actually 9 calories, where a gram of protein or a gram of carbs is only 4 calories. So if you actually break down the math in a lot of protein bars, they're actually a majority fat. And even if they do have a ton of protein in them, they're also like 3, 4, or even close to 500 calories, which is crazy because, for some people, that's like a fourth of their daily caloric intake. So I'm really a big proponent of being smart about the products that you consume that have calories in it. So the NoCal bars, 190 to 210 calories total. So that's great. And it's, to me, the perfect amount. And I've always been the believer that 80 to 90% whole food plant-based is the way to go, because then you get the best of, that type of diet and lifestyle, which science has shown empowers us to live the longest and have the longest health span. This is true in all the blue zones where people regularly live, to over 100 and have some of the longest health spans, is they're like 95% plus plant-based. So that doesn't mean let's not really enjoy the food stuffs that we eat. And there are some delicious, man-made processed foods like the no-cow dip bars. Now, I would not eat dipped no-cow bars all day for every single meal, but one or two a day totally fits within my fit, rich life, empowers me to, maintain the level of fitness that I want to maintain, enjoy a little bit of dessert candy bar like food stuff at the end of the day as a nice little treat before I call it a day for my eating. And it is just, really love the product. So if you want to get your hands on some no-cow bars, you can go to nocow.com and use code DRAGON to save 15% off. The last supporter of this show that I'll talk to you about is Fit Rich Life Coaching. So Fit Rich Life Coaching is my game-changing fitness and money coaching program that I created at the last year. So really this is to empower people to master their money and achieve their dream body and live their best life. So if you're looking for that support, that, constructive program that is going to empower you to get in shape for summer and, really master your money and get yourself on the path to financial freedom, then this proven program, we have a bunch of members who've been through the program who have incredible results both in their fitness and their money. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram with Fit Rich Life, or you can go to alchemizelife.com and there's a coaching tab at the top that you can book a free consultation with me to see if the program would be a good fit. So those are the show sponsors, all companies that I deeply believe in and am incredibly grateful that they are vision, value, and mission aligned with myself and this show, and that they support the show. So an easy way to support this show is to use those products like I do. And basically, that is the wrap up of this show. The last thing that I will share with you, because I love to give value, is part of my life philosophy. And that is a framework to continuously optimize your life. And I've talked about this on other people's podcasts, but I don't believe I've talked about it on my own podcast. And the framework is 3 related principles. So the first principle is you're the average of the 5 to 15 people that you spend the most energy with. And the reason I say energy is because you can spend a lot of energy with people virtually nowadays, whether, you're consuming their content or you're meeting with them virtually, through the workspace as, a colleague that you have to interact with every day, whether that's through Slack messages or whatever your work chat is, or on, Zoom meetings, etc. As well as, you could be consuming a ton of somebody's content on Instagram, their podcast, their YouTubes, etc. So you are an average of the 5 to 15 people that you spend the most energy with. And usually, if you're in a relationship, one of those people is your partner. If you're in a family, some of those people are going to be family members if you live together. And so it's really essential that you make sure that the people that you are spending your energy with are calling forth your highest, best self, the next evolution of your best life, right? So that's principle number 1. The second principle is you are a product of your environment. And this includes your work environment. This includes your home environment. This includes your virtual environments. This includes any kind of, extracurricular activities that you go and be a part of each day. Maybe your gym or some sort of fitness class that you go to multiple times a week, or some sort of meetup group that you spend time within each week. So you are a product of those environments. So if you want to transform your life to the next level, get into better environments. And you can do this by moving cities, moving to new countries. You can do this by joining meetup groups, joining a new company, hanging out with new people online. So this is a really easy way to optimize your life, is to choose environments that empower you to build your best fit rich life. So that's principle number 2. The third principle is you are what you consume. And this includes food, information, experiences, music, media, movies, all that stuff. Anything that goes into your eyes, your ears, your mouth, onto your skin. Basically, anything that you consume is having a direct effect on your entire life experience from a mental level, emotional level, physical level, and even a spiritual level. So if you want to optimize your life for growth, make sure that you're consuming empowering stuff, whether that's food that creates vibrant health, whether that's books and podcasts that inspire and empower you with ideas and inspiration and actionable insight. That is an incredible way for you to optimize your life for maximum growth. And, really be careful about the social media that you consume. So I'm a firm believer in the principle of always be training your AI, right? So kind of like how to train your dragon, how to train your AI. So on Instagram, anytime I'm scrolling, I will mute, block, or unfollow any like negative disempowering content or people, because I just don't want Instagram feeding that to me. And then I will like, comment, engage, reshare, etc., any of the empowering content, right? And this teaches the AI algorithm to give me more of the content that I am proactively telling my AI is stuff I like. Now, even not taking any action, if you're just scrolling and there's like negative stuff and you pause on it, even if you don't click on it, Instagram automatically knows that like, oh, that catches your attention, so it will send you more of it. So this is why you can't just be like lackadaisical about it. You have to be proactive about training your AI. So if you see that like, I don't know, depressing or kind of shocking post that is like, doesn't make you feel good, literally block, hide, unfollow. So tell Instagram you do not want to see more of that, right? And this goes for all social media, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, etc. Is you really have to be proactive about cultivating the media that you're consuming, right? So you can be proactive about, choosing the right podcast to listen to, the right YouTube channels to watch, the right audiobooks to listen to, or books to read. But you have to be super proactive about stuff like social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, in order to make sure that it is feeding you the stuff that is actually empowering your life. So essentially, those 3 principles: you are the average of the 5 to 10 people that you spend the most energy with. You are a product of your environment, and you are what you consume. If you are always focusing on making sure each one of those is pulling for your best fit rich life and really creating positive forward momentum for you, then you will continuously optimize your life to be your best life. So that's a framework that I wanted to share with you before we close this down. And lastly, I just want to thank you all again. Thank you so much for supporting the show over the last year or so. I believe the first episode came out right around April of last year. We're recording this on April 10th, a year later. So this is the death of Alchemize Life and the birth of Fit Rich Life podcast. So if you're loving the show, the best ways besides, utilizing the sponsors is to share the show with a friend, to make sure you're subscribed on Spotify and Apple, as well as wherever else you listen to podcasts. subscribe on YouTube, and most importantly on Spotify and Apple, leave a 5-star review. That means the world to me, and it empowers me and the show to reach more people. And like I said, this year's theme for me is expansion. So if you want to empower and help me expand and reach more people and empower them to truly live their best life, please leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple. So this is the last episode of Alchemize Life and kind of the episode 0 of Fit Rich Life. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and look forward to continuing this journey with you for the next who knows how long, but for a long time, because this is one of the most rewarding, fun endeavors I've ever done, and it just gives me so much energy to be a catalyst for others, as well as just all the incredible things that are catalyzed in my own life by doing this show and having the type of guests that we have on the show. I guess last note, if you have any guest suggestions of people that you think I should have on the show, please shoot me a message on Instagram, or shoot me an email, or just drop me a note somewhere in the comments, and just let me know some of the people that you would love to have on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be back next week as Fit Rich Life.